Good evening. I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of Ahmedabad Management Association for today's webinar as part of AMS Healthcare Week on Wellness through Management. I would like to request Dr. Paresh Karia, Director, Asian Stock Quality and a member of AMS Governing Council to take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukesh Bhai, and my warm welcome to all of you online right now on the Zoom. A lot of people are on YouTube, so welcome on behalf of Ahmedabad Management Association. So this Wellness Week, first of all, thank you. A lot of people they started attending. I think entire week, and my thank you to Dr. Hansal for today's session. So before we start the session, I have an honor to introduce our speaker, Dr. Hansal. Dr. Hansal is a renowned psychiatrist and author of Western India. He is MD in psychiatry with university first position. He is a member Mental Health Authority, Government of Gujarat. So very active at state level. He is advisor to many pharmaceutical and corporate companies on the psychological aspect. He is very popular column writer in our renowned Gujarati newspaper. Everybody reads Gujarat Samachar, so he's writing there. His column on this newspaper, male-female relationship. If we say Gujarati, Tari ane Mari Vaat, both popular છે. And it has a wide readership base across the state, country, and the globe, right? He's another column, Manas, is giving guidance about psychological problems and mental disorders. His columns are also published in an international edition of Gujarat Samachar regularly. He is a guest writer in many other newspapers, magazines, and the books, right? He has a very interactive website, malefemale.in. I think do visit. It will help for, getting the exposure to relationships, sex, and mental health related challenges and the solutions, right? And a lot of visitors to this website. He's a good, blog writer, and he has a lot of visitors to the blog across the globe. And he has written by now 15 books, right, on male-female relationship, right, and its psychology, mental disorders, stress, and its management. Even some of the input through books on drug addiction, depression, even common sexual myths, etc. So very popular in book writing, right? He has the award on prestigious award on Sri Ravi Shankar Maharaj from Gujarat. Even he has also Jugat Ram Dave Gold Medal in the services of the field of drug addiction. Lot of contribution, I can tell you, long list. But his service to humanity, demonstrate the best work and his passion, right? His serial on radio, Man Moti Anek Kach, was very also broadcasted all India radio. So he's popular on the radio also, and regularly he comes on. He has visited many countries, US, Australia, South Korea, Southeast Asia, many countries. And at present, he is having two private clinics at Navrangpura and Maninagar. So, Dr. Hansal, warm welcome to you on behalf of Ahmedabad Management Association. AMA is a happening place, and my thank you to give your consent for today's talk. Now I request to enlighten all of us for your talk. Over to Dr. Hansal.
Dear friends, first of all, I would like to thank you all for joining this session because in today's time there are a lot many things to see, lot many things to watch, and lot many things to attend, and you have choose to attend this program. So really thank you for that. I would like to thank Ahmedabad Medical Association and organizers for giving me a chance to share my views on the topic how to balance work and life and managing yourself into this challenging time. The first important thing I would like to share with you is I'm not going to show you that how to balance this, but I'll act as a catalyst. I'll stimulate certain thoughts in your mind, and then ultimately, you need to design your show and you need to run that show. So let's begin with the first thing. Just a second. Okay. Uh, See, since the end of 2019, we have been struck by the virus called COVID-19, and since then, our life has changed. Uh, I would like to divide this change into two parts. The first part is changes which are new to us. The first, as for example, is mask. Before this COVID-19, the mask uh, was almost, I can say that it was almost a very unpopular. Only few of people who are having a asthma or a dust allergy or very uh, highly health conscious people might be wearing the mask. But most of us was not wearing the mask, or even most of us would not like to even wear. So mask is a new change. Same way the hand sanitization. Uh, you know, the hand sanitization was very poor in our country before 2019, and after the end of 2019, with the appearance of COVID-19, hand sanitization has become a very routine part of our life, and now people are having hand sanitizers in their pocket. So that is a second change which was brought: social distancing. We are the people who never believed in distancing. We are a people of crowd. We always want to create a crowd. I'll give you an example. If you go to a movie show, you will never find that both the gates of auditorium is open. They usually open only one gate, and we rush through that gate, pushing each other. So I think we are the people who were never believed in a social distancing, but unfortunately, COVID-19 has compelled us to be a socially distancing. Same way, the work from home, which was absolutely new concept for us, but nowadays it has become a routine, and it has we can say that it is most of the people are working from home till at least in the 50% of the organizations. So these are the certain new changes which were previously not there. But most important is there were certain changes which we required to implement, or which was always there in background. But this COVID has brought them into the foreground. The first one is the importance of health and immunity. It was always there, but it was in the background. Everybody was not very keen on giving an importance to this particular area. But then COVID-19 has stressed a lot of importance to health and immunities. Second thing is staying alone, or what we can say solitude. We were not used to stay alone anytime, and the majority of us, even though it was needed, but it was in a background. We hardly sit with our own self, and we hardly spend the time with ourselves. But the COVID has compelled us to think in that line, and that has came into the foreground. Same with the importance of family. It's not that we were not knowing the importance of the family. It was not that we were ignoring the family, but It was always on in the background. The COVID has brought it into the foreground. Same way, the importance of social life. Most of the time, people were talking about the virtual life, and there were few of us who were always believing that virtual life will replace the actual life. But COVID has made it very clear that ultimately we need actual life, actual relationship, actual humans to interact. We cannot go on virtually forever. So importance of social life has been also brought into the foreground, and the most important one is work life balance. Everybody has started talking about the work life balance. It was not that they have found out that thing in the COVID. Initially, we were always talking about the work life balance, but ultimately it has come to the foreground. So these are the few changes which we have observed in last almost 1.5 years. So today we are going to talk about the work life balance, so which is a one part of the change which we are gradually accepting. uh, if if I speak very rightly, then this work-life balance has been brought into the discussion, or into the light since 1970, where in US majority of females have started working, and they have to manage both home front and work front. And at that time, this term was coined, and since then it has become a popular. But the bitter part or bitter truth is, for most of us it remains a dream. People are always struggling maintaining the balance between the work and the various other areas of their life, because to me it's a very tricky concept. To attain a work life balance is a very tricky thing, and I'll tell you why. But before that, we need to understand few points about the work-life balance. Most of us, in spite of putting a lot of efforts, we fail to attain it. And sometimes, even if you attain it for a limited period of time, then it becomes a difficult to maintain it, and ultimately we miserably fail to attain it, and we feel guilty and frustrated. So I think work-life balance is that way very important, because we need to attain it, maintain it, and that is also without guilt and being frustrated about it. So why it is so? Why we are not able to maintain that balance, or why this balance seems to be elusive to us? You would be surprised, but I have a belief, and I think many of us have this belief that having a work-life balance, it's a myth. And I'll tell you why I'm calling this as a myth. But before that, I'll like to define this three words, or I'll just want to give you an idea about the work, life, and balance. Uh, Basically, if you speak that what is work, then probably the work is an activity which most of us uh, don't like, and most of us don't enjoy working for what we are actually working, or the work which we are doing. So it's an activity which is disliked by most of us. Always there are exceptions who might be enjoying their work, or who might be very passionate about their work, but I'm just talking about the majority, uh, where they either don't enjoy or feel burdened about this work. Life is a bigger stage, and it has many stakeholders. The work is only one part of it, but there are number of other areas which is there in the life. And it might be a self, it might be a family, it might be a society, and lot many other areas which life has. So life is a quite a bigger stage as compared to the work. And if we talk about the balance, then balance is a term where you know we give equal weightage to the things, and you maintain the at all the sides of a particular thing. That is a balance, and unknowingly or unknowingly, all of us would always seek the balance, because it's a nature's law. If we look at the nature, everything in nature is into the balance. So definitely, consciously or unconsciously, we are also striving for the balance in each and everything. So that is what we can say balance. So after knowing these three things, I have started searching. I have started searching up, pictures on the Google for work-life balance, and these are the some pictures which I got. I got a juggler as a picture. Then I got this cartoon also, which is showing that the clown is juggling around home, life, work, family, money, all those kind of front. Or you can have this kind of balancing picture, or this picture. But do you know what is common to all this picture? Common to all this picture is equal weightage. Whether you see a juggler, or whether you see a work life balance, or anything where the weightage is equal. If you have seen a juggler would juggle the balls which is equivalent, and equivalent in the shape, and as at the same time it is equivalent in the weight also. Then it becomes a very easy for them. If there is a weight difference in the balls, then I think it would become very difficult to juggle them. So equal weightage is I think it's a rule for the balance. Now here comes the problem, because when you see when you conclude that equal balance would give you the equal weightage would give you the proper balance, then the problem arises, because in life, all the different areas, you cannot equally you cannot give them a equal weightage. There are certain areas which is a priority to you. There are certain areas which are of less importance or less priority, but you need to attend them. So in life, all the spheres, they are not equal, and when they are not equal, as I told you, that it is very difficult to maintain the balance. So that is the one reason where I say work life is a myth, because they are never equal, and when they are never equal, you need to constantly adjust them. So the best picture which I like on Google about the balance, work life balance, is this. Because the person who are sitting in this two side, they are not of equal weight. So the person who is carrying, this is basically a picture of Shravan, but we are not going to discuss about the Shravan and his parents and all those stuff. But the only thing is, the person who is carrying this, he has to adjust that stick accordingly, so that the balance in a balance can be maintained, and weightage can be equal. So uh, where the weight is higher, the stick length would be less, and where the weight is low, stick length would be I would say more. So why he needs to do that? Because he needs to maintain the balance. So if you interpret this, then you would find that the person has to go off balance to maintain the balance. Person has to go off balance to maintain the balance, and that is how they maintain the balance. So when we talk about the work life balance, it is never a balance, but it is a real adjustment, where you have to go off balance, then again balance, then again off balance, and you need to constantly maintain this thing, and probably you would never be able to achieve a balance. So it is always going off balance on purpose. Now I have a different concept. I see this issue in a different way. This is a picture of orchestra. If you have seen the orchestra, in orchestra, usually there are number of the instruments are being played. And from those instruments, some instruments are in foreground, some instruments are in background, some instruments are loud, some instruments are very feeble, and the music goes on. But one thing is very certain, that whether instrument is loud or not, whether instrument is feeble or not, whether instrument is being played in a foreground or a background, the one thing remains the constant, and that is the rhythm. You cannot go out of the rhythm. Whether your instrument, whatever importance is being given to your instrument by the orchestra conductor, it's a different thing, but you have to be in the rhythm, and that is the rhythm is the only thing which holds all the instruments together. So for me, the work-life balance is not correct word. The correct word is work-life rhythm. You have to be a rhythmic, because for balance you need an equal weightage, but for rhythm you don't need an equal weightage. There are certain instruments which is being played loud, and there are certain instrument which is being played in a background, and with the other piece, the background instruments would come into the foreground, and foreground would go into the background. So you constantly juggle around the instrument, but the rhythm is being maintained, even though the equal weightage has not been given. So for me, the proper word is work-life rhythm. So let us understand that how to set your work-life rhythm. For work-life rhythm, number one, if you want to set this rhythm, the first and very important thing is you need to know your instrument well. So if you are an orchestra conductor, and if you are going to conduct the orchestra, then you should be always aware that what are the instruments available to you on the floor, and how you are going to play. So same way, if you want to set your work life rhythm, you need to know the different spectrum of your work, your life, and what are the areas you need to which you need to attend, and which you need to set for the rhythm. So very important thing, know your instruments well. The second important thing is know your stage and audience. you know the stage can be your work area, your family area, or your social stage, or your national stage, whatever you do. You need to know that stage, and every stage has a different requirement. So when you are setting up your work life rhythm for a society, then it is something different. When it is being set for your organization, then it is a different. And same way, the audience, the participants, because there are people who are going to affect. If I want to set my work life rhythm into a particular way, there are certain obstacles, or there are certain people who would support my rhythm. There are people who would oppose my rhythm. So I need to consider them as an audience, and I need to know that audience as well. So for a proper work life rhythm, you need to know all these people who are going to get affected by your rhythm, or who are going to be a part of your orchestra. The third important thing is select your rhythm. See, rhythm can be selected by the priorities. So same way, if you want to have a proper work life rhythm, or if you want to go into the proper rhythm, then you need to set your priorities, and you need to give an importance to something. And today, something which is important today may not be important tomorrow. So you have to constantly select your rhythm, and you have to adjust it. Important thing, that you have to set your rhythm on its own, on your own. See, there are people who always say that somebody is going to set a work life balance for you. I don't agree. See, if you want to set up your work life rhythm, it's you who have to set it. If you don't set it, then somebody will always set it for you. There are a lot of corporations who would provide a ready-made solution to you for maintaining your work and life balance, or work and life rhythm. But then it would be always in their interest. It may not be in your interest, although it looks that it is in your interest, but ultimately it's in their interest. So if you want to set your work life rhythm, if you want to have a kind of a balancing act in your work and life area, then it is you who have to set it. It is not somebody else's responsibility. It is your own responsibility. You should be the conductor of your orchestra, because ultimately you are going to produce a music which you have thought about. So nobody is going to handle your work life for you, because you know what you want out of your work, what you want out of your life. And finally, the most important thing, what you want to listen or produce is best known to you. So ultimately, nobody else can do it for you. Nobody else can manage for you. It is you who has to do it. So this is how you can set your work life rhythm. Remember that you have to produce a soothing music and not a cacophony. There are people who wants to go in very depth of creating all this thing, but ultimately what matters is how beautiful music you are composing out of that. So same way, if you want to balance your work and life, then you go into the balanced way. You cannot go haphazardly, or you cannot go very obstinately to set up your rhythm, or set up your routine. There are certain important rules for creating and maintaining your work life rhythm. uh, I'm particularly and repeatedly using word rhythm because I want to remove the idea of balancing from your mind, because balancing is constant juggling and you cannot keep on doing those things. On the contrary, you should be enjoying that juggling, and you maintain the rhythm and be vibrant about your life, and at the same time your work, and you maintain that. So there are certain important rules for creating and maintaining your work life rhythm. The first important rule is you need to manage your expectations. I have seen people who are expecting 4 minutes out of 1 minute of life. I like to tell them that in 1 minute, you live only 1 minute. You cannot live 4 minutes in a 1 minute. So it's not about the multitasking. It's not about having multiple things on your mind, and constantly running after that. Rather than you clear out your expectation, set up your priorities, and if you start working that way, then probably for you the maintaining the rhythm would be much better. Scheduling and setting up your boundaries. See, most of the time, people would understand that when you talk about the work-life rhythm, or in that sense, if you talk about the work-life balance, people think that it is about the time management. It's not about the time management. Maintaining your work-life rhythm, it's about a boundary management. You have to schedule yourself in such a way that what kind of importance and how much priorities are to be given to the different areas, and you have to set up the boundaries for that. And not only the setting is important, even more important is sticking to it. See, most of the people have a set boundaries in their mind, but the most difficult part is they are not able to stick to it. So if you want to maintain your work life rhythm, and if you want to produce a wonderful music out of that, then you need to stick to your boundaries, and you should be very, very much aware about that constantly. You have to take a regular breaks, and for taking a break, you have to schedule it too. So when you are doing a scheduling about your work, about your various areas of your life, at that time you need to even schedule your regular breaks also, because breaks will give you I think the breaks will give you the recharging opportunities, where you can recharge yourself, or probably you can rethink, reorganize. All these opportunities would come into the break. So it is a very important that when you want to maintain your work life rhythm, you give a due importance to regular breaks. Same way, you need to establish a routine. See, we all have some kind of routine, particularly uh, uh, nowadays. Those people who are working from the home, they are out of their routine. They probably not wear their dresses properly. They would not go into the transition period, because see, in maintaining a routine, we are always have a transition period. I leave from my home and go to my clinic. There is a transition time. I might be driving during that time, or I might be traveling through bus during that time, and during that time I might be listening some podcast or some music and all that. So that is a transition time. But nowadays, people who are working from the home, they don't have a transition time. Just before a minute, they are moving in Bermudas, and after a minute they are on the in the meeting. So that kind of thing would always disturb your work life rhythm. So if you want to maintain your work life rhythm, then you have to have your established routine, and you try to maintain it. Even if you are working from the home, try to dress properly, and try to maintain your routine. That is very important. Another important thing is, you need to recognize, acknowledge, and accept the complexity of the situation. See, it has been 1.5 years now, but there are many people who have not adjusted to this change, and they feel tired, or very irritated, or very frustrated about the situation. But I think if you want to keep your rhythm up, then you have to recognize, you have to acknowledge and accept the complexity of any situation. This is COVID situation, but there are number of the situation which pops up in your working environment, in your family environment, in your society, in your nation. And then you have to acknowledge it and accept it, and try to adjust to it. So it's about accepting the change. If you are ready to accept the change, I think your rhythm will go undisturbed. But if you are not able to accept the change, then probably your rhythm will go haywire. Apart from all this, I think the most important is this: that is the importance of a me time, or a solitude, or a time for the self. So if you want to maintain your work life rhythm, it is very important that during a day, during a particular time of the day, you detach yourself completely from the work, disconnect from everyone, including your mobile, and just sit with yourself, and just look inward. This is very important. What is the importance? I'll tell you in the next slide. But this is the most important thing which we need to do, because when you are isolated, when you are with your own self, then and then you will be aware about your own need, your desires, and things which you are heading for. So there are a lot of introspection opportunities of introspection would come, and unless you do that, you would never be able to find out your rhythm. And if you are not able to find out your rhythm, then ultimately things will go haywire. So always try to create a me time. Always try to uh, sit with yourself, disconnected from the world, or from the outer world, I would say. So I think that was particularly about the work-life rhythm. There are few areas which I have given as a stimulating ideas. You just think over those ideas, and accordingly you can set up your rhythm. If you want to call it a balance, I don't mind. You can call it a balance also, but to me the balance is probably a stress producing word or a taxing word, because as I told you that you need to constantly juggle and you need to go purposefully off balance to maintain the balance in. And so in that situation you would never get satisfied, or you would never feel satisfied. So I think rather than thinking in terms of balance, always think in terms of rhythm, so that at least you can achieve it, and probably you would get less frustrated. So what are the important areas which you need to consider for setting up the rhythm that I narrated in the brief? Now the second part, and which is very important, that how to manage yourself. See, in a title there is uh, um, a reference of the time, that during this difficult time. But to me the time is always difficult unless you manage yourself well, because the unmanaged person is always under the difficulty. So whether it is a current time or whether it is any time in the life, if you are not able to manage yourself, you are always passing through your difficult time. Just few days back I came across this joke on WhatsApp, that every company would say that we would like to promote mental health in workplace, while employees would like to argue that how about hiring a more people, so we will have a less pressure and increase our pay, so we can keep up with the spiraling cost of living, so we are not so stressed out. So at that time, every company would say that no, not like that. We cannot go like that. You just try yoga. So same thing I told you in uh, previous slide. I think in a previous slides, that if you don't do it, or if you want to do it in a particular way, your organization would not support you that way. They will always support you in a way they are getting most benefited, or they are getting maximum out of you. So even though if they talk about the work life balance, they talk about your wellness, they talk about your mental health, still in the background always focus remains upon their own profit, and probably to getting the best out of you. So it's you who has to conduct this orchestra, and you have to become a orchestra conductor. So in same way, in managing your life, you have to do it. Nobody else can do your life management. There are nowadays, it's an era of management. You would have everything being managed by agencies, wealth management agency, and event management, and lot many, you name anything. Even people are doing a funeral management. So you can find management agencies everywhere. And same way, there are management agencies who would manage you, and they are in terms of uh, lot of motivating lectures are there, motivational gurus are there. See, basically what they are claiming is they want to teach you how to manage your life. But I think the most important thing, if you want to manage yourself or manage your life, you need to do it on your own. And the first rule, again, I'll come to the same topic here, that sit with yourself and introspect. This is very important, because unless you sit with yourself and introspect, probably the management of the self would not begin. So management of self would begin with the introspection, and sitting in isolation, disconnected, and finding out, you know, what you are looking for, or what is the purpose of your existence. This is a very deep thinking, but if you start sitting and if you start uh, sitting practice, then over a period of time, your thinking will go into that direction. Second important thing while you want to manage yourself is you need to set a priorities in your life. I told you that you cannot give equal weightage to everything in the life. There are certain areas which requires extra weightage. There are certain areas where you have a minimum weightage. So you cannot give a equal weightage to everything in your life. So you need to set the priorities, and mind well that these priorities are keeps changing during a particular time. So today something is in priority, probably tomorrow it may not be in your priority. So always look for your priorities. Always try to set those priorities in life, and that is you can do while you sit and introspect. The third important thing, set your boundaries. You need to set your boundaries very clearly. Then and then, you would be able to manage your life. If you don't have a boundaries, then probably you keep on juggling between certain areas, or a kind of a multitasking type of management of life, and that does not work. If you want to manage your life, then you have to have a lot of clarity on the boundaries of different areas of life. So you need to set your boundaries. This is very important thing, that learn to say no. This is one of the most difficult word we face during our conversation, because nobody would like to listen to no. And when we go to please people out of our way, or out of breaking our boundaries, then definitely our life would go on the toss, and it would be very difficult to manage. So this is very important, that you need to say, you need to learn to say no. It may you may do it innovatively, you may do it smartly, or you may do it brutally, but you have to learn this art. Otherwise it would be difficult to manage the life. The another important thing is maintain your health. That is very important, because if you are not healthy, there is no fun in managing your life, and probably it is never being managed, because once you are not happy within, if you are not happy with your own body, then I think probably all other kind of management would not matter to you. So you have to always maintain your health through exercises, making healthy choices, and maintaining your lifestyle. These are the very important areas of life. If you want to manage yourself, you need to attend this, and you have to set a very clear rules about all these areas. Again, the same thing. First and very important person in this life is you yourself. Unless you are happy within, you cannot make other people happy. So you come first, then comes your family, then your work, then your society, then your nation. It should always go like this. If you are not happy, you cannot make your family happy. If you and your family is not happy, then you cannot give 100% to your work. If your family or your work area is not happy, then you are not important to the society, or you cannot contribute to the society. If you are not happy, your family is not happy, your work is not happy, and your society is not happy, then you are a burden to the nation. So you have to think that it starts with you, and ultimately it will end on nation. So you have to attend your uh, different areas in these priorities. So final few words, that if you want to manage yourself, forget the outer world for few minutes every day. Every day sit in isolation. Sit, close your eyes, turn inwards, think of what kind of life you want to live. This is very important. Constantly sit this question within, that what is the purpose of my life? What is the purpose of my existence? What I want out of this life? This should be a very, very intense question, which you should always ask every day to yourself. And finally, sit on the steering wheels, take control, and start enjoying the ride. This is very important. Somebody cannot ride this journey for you. You have to sit on the steering wheel and you have to take control. I understand that every time taking control is not that easy. But if you want to intend to take control, someday would come that you would be able to establish that control in your life. So always sit on steering wheels on your own. Don't give a steering wheels in hand of other people for your life journey. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to manage your life. One thing is very important. While I was thinking about talking this work-life balance, I have gone through lot many research work, and I have found that define a particular work area and maintain the work etiquette, and lot many things has been said about the work-life balance. But I thought that I'll give you some new angle to this a particular topic, and that is why I have talked about the rhythm. I have talked about in terms of a music and musical instrument. Just want to give some new idea, because if you Google it, then you will get the plenty of the traditional idea and plenty of repetition about this. You won't find this thing on the Google. Now today it will be put on the Google. So from tomorrow people may find it on the Google, but up till now this rhythm thing you won't find as far as the work life rhythm is concerned. So I wanted to give you a new thought, new stimulation. But at the same time, I know that people know everything. Whatever I told you or whatever I said in this talk, I think there is nothing new, because everyone knows everything, because we have a very strong instrument in our palm, and in genuinely speaking, world is in our palm. So we have a knowledge of everything. But the only important thing is there is a missing link, and that missing link is intention and implementation. What we lack is an intention and implementation. People know everything, but they don't have a intention to change. And even if they have an intention to change, probably they are not able to implement it. So everything matters, not only the knowledge, not only the know-how, the intention, implementation, and probably we can say that sticking to it, that is also very important. So if we can do all this thing together, then probably we would be able to create a good work life rhythm, and at the same time we can manage our life during the difficult times, or even during the fun times or easy times. uh, Thank you so much. That's all which I wanted to share with you. I'm happy you came, and probably I'm sure that your 40 minutes or 45 minutes, I have given a worth to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hansal. And it was in depth and shifted our paradigm. Now, couple of questions. Let me wait. Any questions so far? So there is one question in the beginning of the session by Hazel Grace. How do we rightly set our priorities in point of view? I think you have presented, right?
Yeah, see, again, I am repeating because it is worth repeating. If you want to set your priorities, you need to know yourself very well. And if you want to know yourself, sit and think about yourself, and think about the goals of your life, purpose of your life. See, all these things will on a longer run will give you an idea that what are the priorities in my life, and what should be primary, what should be on the top, and what should be at the bottom.
Wonderful. One more question, Dr. Hazel, from Akshar Rawal, which is the main thing to convert intents in implement? Which is main thing to convert intents in implement?
Yeah, so that is about the intention and implementation. See, very important thing is your passion. You know, if you are passionate about taking a
Mm.
charge of your own life, then I think your desire will go on burning, and the burning desires will give you intention. And once you have a strong intention, then definitely you will think about the implementation. So see, all these are interconnected, and you, as I told you, that you need to constantly ask a question to yourself, that what is a goal, what is the goal of my life, what is the purpose of my existence, and what I'm going to do with it. See, if you really find a answer to this, then I think this intention and implementation and all those things become secondary.
Correct. You are right. You are right. Now, one more question by Mr. Uttam Kumar. His question is little crazy, but you have to answer. How to go to office every day when you hate your job and want to do something else which you cannot? It's a little conflicting, but I think, yeah.
Yeah, I while I was defining the term work, I told you that majority of the people are not liking the work what they are doing, or probably they are not enjoying the work they are doing. So I think, which is very routine. But one thing is very certain, that if you don't like a work, then you can leave it. But probably what you like should be able to give you at least money for your survival and for your family. So see, we always say that whatever you like, you do whatever you like. But then we are stuck by lot many things. The first is financial requirement. See, I might like playing a piano, but I cannot leave my practice for playing a piano, because piano would not give me a money for my survival or for my family's survival. So unless you are very rich and very self sufficient, you cannot leave the work. But yes, you can gradually change your work. You can gradually find out the work of your interest. But at the same time, I think it's a very tricky priority which you need to design, that what you need out of your life, and what are your family responsibilities.
I think convincing. What you said is right, with a practicality. And Dr. Hazel, last question. Uh, this is by Kritik Shah. Uh, According to her, one question is, while having a mental illness and work life pressure, what to do? How to find a path when you are just feeling you are worthless or failure?
See, one important thing is, when somebody has a mental illness, the first and very important thing is get treated, because mental illness are treatable. So if you get treated, then probably you would be able to work more efficiently. Because sometimes it happens that because of your illness, you are not able to give 100% to your work, or you are mentally failing on your capacity or on your strength, and that gives you a lot of bad name in the organization, or you have to listen to your superior instructing that you are not working properly, or those kind of thing. So which makes you all those comments are frustrating, and which makes you sad about working. So very important thing, if anybody has a mental illness and having a difficulty in the working environment, first they should get treated. Once they are treated, and they are in a good mental shape, probably they would be able to deal whatever the hurdles which has been created in a workplace because of his mental illness. The second important thing is, if you want to change, already I told in a previous answer that if you want to change, you can always change, but then you have to do a lot of homework before changing, and you can have another work field where you start enjoying.
Thank you, Doctor. I think before I conclude the vote of thanks, I would like to give my feedback. Being from corporate, I really liked your input, and you really gave today the paradigm shift from work-life balance to work-life rhythm. Work-life rhythm, I really liked it. I will definitely recommend this recordings to my all employee, because I think you rightly gave practical input that at every level, at personal level, at corporate level, even at the senior level like you and me, we need the work life rhythm. So I fully endorse your today's hypothesis, and I'm with you, right? And second, I think we really enjoyed today the pictures, and I really, it is photographic, right? So you forget verbatism, but you cannot forget the picture. So wonderful, you clarified from paradigm shift to what is this, how to do this, what is the importance, and still there are questions, but I think I will, on behalf of AMA, I will request them separately to talk to you, because there's long length of questions, sir. So big thank you not to you personally, with a very very comprehensive presentation, convincing presentation. Even I will recommend all the participants to start a baby step, because very important step is execution, right? So with this, I personally thank you all, to you personally, and all the participants on behalf of Ahmedabad Management Association, and we'll look forward to invite you again. So that's what I wanted to tell you again, right? So thank you, and Mukesh, you, if you want to close the session, you can.